And tonight with an update to breaking news we have been following all evening at a private school on lockdown at this hour. This after word of a man carrying a rifle on campus. News Channel 4's Rashonda Tate is at the scene. She joins us now live from Casady School at Penn and Britton with the very latest. We know there's been some movement out there. Rashonda, what's happening?
Oh, Kevin, they did let a few students leave here, but actually it was just a handful of them. They were able to get out, but they were in this building back here. Now, we can tell you the rest of the school remains on lockdown. We did just see some officers go in a building. We'll show you some video of that. Armed officers with assault weapons actually ran into a building. We don't know if the suspect is in there. We don't know much of anything at this point because, as you can imagine, details are sketchy. They are trying to find the man at this hour. Maybe we can toss it up to Chopper 4 and Jim Gardner, who has a better vantage point. Jim, what do you see from there?
Well, I can tell you, Rashawn, at this time, Penn was closed down for a short time, but traffic is moving north and south on Penn and east and west on Britton. Right now, you're seeing the command center where everybody is working from at this time and officers dispersed from. Now, we understand that officers are now taking kids from the library and bring them out of the library to the command post at this time. That's the latest information we have, but right now this search is ongoing, but people can go east and west on Britton and north and south on Penn. Those roads are open right now, but the school is just still under lockdown, so nobody can get in. Rashonda, back to you.
Now, Jim, we're hearing right now that no shots have been fired, so that is the good thing for parents to know right now, but they, again, do have the campus on lockdown while they search for that suspect. You can see there are plenty of officers out here on the scene, and there are also a lot of cars here in the parking lot, so that means there are a lot of students inside. We did talk with a mother who said her son called. He was only able to talk briefly with her, but he said they are okay. They were just told they had to stay locked up. At this hour, we are here at the scene. We'll stay here and bring you more information as we get it. Back to you, Linda.
All right, thank you very much. And let me also add that in talking to authorities and listening in, we do know that they have had 2 witnesses who say they saw this man in camouflage uniform on the campus carrying a rifle. Police have taken one of those witnesses to the police station to interview him. They're interviewing the other witness as well, trying to determine exactly what they saw, when, where, and where that gunman, if he is on the campus, could be. We'll continue to follow the story and bring you updates as they happen. Also tonight in the news, a baby, a 2-year-old baby girl, dead of what appears to be burns to her tiny body. The scene takes us to Seminole, where investigators are now trying to determine whether it was a tragic accident or a homicide. The child was not in the care of her parents at the time, but in the care of a trusted family friend. The story is first at 6. News Channel 4's Heather Holman joins us now live from Seminole with the latest. Heather?
Well, Linda, the little girl was staying with a babysitter. Her family was out of town when police here had to call them with the heartbreaking news.
She suffered some burns and was later pronounced dead at the hospital.
Police say this is where the 2-year-old child took her last breath early Sunday morning, where doctors tried desperately to save her life. But the 2nd and 3rd degree burns were too much for Haley White's small body. Her picture soon appeared in the obituaries of the local paper.
Anytime you see, death of a small child, it will affect you.
Seminole Police Detective Shane Marshall and Sergeant Brandon Bowen have both visited the babysitter's house where the toddler was severely scalded.
Her and her husband have been extremely cooperative in this investigation.
The medical examiner's office ruled hot water caused the burns that took Haley's life. They're calling it a homicide, but according to published reports, friends of the family believe the child's death was a freak accident, stating Haley liked to run her own bath and that the babysitter loved Haley as if she was her own. Now her parents and 4 siblings wait while police conclude their investigation into what took this precious child so soon. I spoke with Haley's mother earlier. As you can imagine, she is extremely emotional, but she wants everyone to know how much she and her husband deeply loved Haley, along with all of their other children, stating that their children are their lives. Linda.
All right, thank you very much, and we'll continue to follow that story. Funeral services are set for tomorrow. Let me also add in breaking news at Casady, we now understand the police department has someone in custody. They are bringing one of the witnesses that they had at the police department back to the school to make a positive ID. We'll continue to follow the story for you.
3 years after an expected mother is brutally killed, testimony finally underway in the trial of one of the 2 suspects. The victim, 19-year-old Danielle Scott, was murdered nearly 3 years ago. Doctors managed to save her unborn child. James Leslie faces charges in the case. After a couple of days of jury selection, a panel was finally seated and the prosecution began calling witnesses to the stand. A second suspect, Ricardo Blonner, will be heading to trial next February. For the family of Danielle Scott, it's a trial that's been a long time coming. And as News Channel 4's Natalie Newman reports, Scott's mother is seeking justice for her murdered daughter.
Hold on to our memories, the good and the bad, but remember to rejoice in the Lord and be glad.
Sharon Scott is reciting a poem her 19-year-old daughter wrote about death just days before her own life was taken.
She could write poems. She wrote a story about the bombing. She had a lot of love to offer and a life to live.
Sharon keeps the poem in a picture at her side as she waits for the trial of James Leslie to get started. Leslie is one of 2 men accused of murdering Danielle Scott nearly 3 years ago.
3 long years. Danielle was murdered November 15, 1999, on a Monday morning.
Sharon is seeking justice for Danielle's 2 children, 5-year-old Michaela and Casaya, who is now almost 3 years old. She came into the world a month premature and just minutes after her mother's throat was slashed.
Y'all called her the miracle child, and she still is. She's alive. But a baby that has such severe brain damage has no quality of life. She doesn't know who we are. She doesn't know who her sister Michaela is. She doesn't know why she exists.
Sharon doesn't look forward to reliving her daughter's last minutes in this 2-week-long trial, but she has confidence in the justice system and that the jurors will do the right thing.
Remember the smiles and even the frowns. I'm sorry. Don't forget to look up. I'm sorry, because I'll be looking down.
Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty in this case.
The situation continues to change at Casady School here in Oklahoma City, where a gunman was reported to be on that campus. Let's go to Rashonda Tate for an update. Rashonda?
Linda, that gunman was said to be carrying a rifle, dressed in fatigue, walking across the campus here at Casady School. Right now, they're trying to find that gunman. And we can tell you that we've been told they have a witness coming back to the scene. Police are bringing a witness to the scene to try and make a positive ID. We don't know if that means they actually have someone in custody and they want to make an identification on him or what. As you can imagine, details are sketchy as we wait for police to try and gather everything that's going on. Of course, we are here on the scene. As we get more information, we'll pass it along. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. We also know that the police are moving the students who are on campus. They're going from classroom to classroom, taking the students who were on campus for extracurricular activities or in the library, trying to gather them all into Calvert Hall. If you're familiar with the campus, then you know where that is. We'll continue to follow the story for you.
Also on Crime Watch tonight, a military bag equipped with items to counter a chemical warfare attack been stolen. That bag was taken from a car parked at a Walmart parking lot at I-240 in Santa Fe. The vehicle was being driven by a woman whose husband is stationed at Tinker Air Force Base. The bag was the only item taken from the car. Inside, various protective items like filters, gloves, and a first aid kit. According to a police report, that kit contains syringes and medications to counter a chemical attack.
A small plane crashed on takeoff today, injuring the 84-year-old pilot at the controls. This scene takes us outside Newcastle near the intersection of Highways 37 and 76. We brought you continuing coverage on the story, but new at 6, witnesses described the scene. That plane fell from 200 feet in the sky. News Channel 4's Jack Damerel is live at the Newcastle airport, where that plane took off just moments before it crashed. Jack?
Well, Linda, there is a small grass runway behind me about 1,000 feet long. That is where 84-year-old Kenneth Rensel took off. Now, he headed out southbound, made a quick turn to the left, and that is when trouble began. Here's more. 84-year-old Kenneth Rensel was taking off from the small grass runway and turned out east. It was at about this point construction worker James Johnson noticed the plane in trouble.
It looked like it was going to land on us.
Johnson had been on top of a barn. He noticed the plane just 100 feet above him.
It glided over the top of us and headed back to the north. And it was kind of stumbling and staggering. And I could hear the motor cutting out.
The pilot tried circling back around, but as the motor died, the plane lost its lift. Rensel was able to maintain control and land the plane.
Kind of caught a breeze from underneath, it looked like, and it took the wing down and started tumbling.
The aircraft, a 1958 V-tail Bonanza, had recently been painted. Rensel landed on the plane's belly. The motor separated on impact. The fuselage bent and fractured, but in one piece.
It was just hit and miss. Sounded like he was fuel mixture was bad on it or something, you know. He was trying to get it started, but he doesn't remember flying the plane.
Johnson was first to reach the 84-year-old pilot, a man who was injured but able to walk away.
He was shaking.
But alive.
Yeah, that's what counts.
And Renzel was taken by helicopter to the OU Medical Center, where right now he is listed in serious condition. He had a couple of fractured bones and a cut to his head. Linda?
All right, thank you very much. The NTSB was on the scene investigating today, but still no official word on the cause of the crash. And we do have updated information from Casady School, where now we're being told that the gunman seen on that campus is said to be wearing camouflage outfit with his face painted with camouflage type paint.
That's right. And also we're being told there are, as you saw from our chopper shot, a lot of police units there, at least 15. Also the gang unit being called in for some backup, and Nichols Hills Police as well, OHP on the scene too. We're going to get a live look, breaking news update for you when we come back from this break from Casady School. The scene is Casady High School, a private school here in Oklahoma City. Penn and Britton is the location. We go to Rashonda Tate now, who's been covering the story. A man reportedly in camouflage carrying a rifle on campus, and they're searching for that person. We have some new details. Take it away, Rashonda.
Well, Kevin, at this hour we can tell you no shots fired. That is the good news. The bad news, we're told they're still searching for that suspect. Now, as you said, they're going through the campus. They have moved all the students to one room. What we're finding here, something to keep in mind, parents are coming here. As you can imagine, probably just frantic. Police are asking you to stay away until they get the situation under control. We're told all the students are safe and in one particular hall. Now let's go up to Chopper 4 and Jim Gardner, who has a better look of things. Jim.
Well, Rashonda, you can still see the command post there in our picture. Several cops from Oklahoma City PD and the village are working this right now. One thing we want to stress to people, Britton and Penn are still open around the school. Traffic is moving and flowing very good at this time, and like I said, no shots fired. Now, we understand they had a witness that they brought back to take an ID on somebody that one of the police had in their cars. Now, we don't know if that's the person or what that is. We just understand that they had a witness come back to ID somebody in a car, and that's the latest information that we have, Rashonda. So you might have more. Back to you.
All right, Jim, of course, you know, details are sketchy right now as we try to gather everything and what's going on here. But the thing to parents is just right now, stay away. Your kids are safe. Police are saying let them get this under control, and then they will release all the students. And we can tell you it's quite a bit of students here. The parking lot is actually filled with cars. But the thing to know is that they are safe, and we will stay out here and keep you updated. Back to you.
All right, Rashonda, thank you. Now, we also know, this is important, the YMCA north of Casady has also been locked down because they don't want people coming in and out of there right now as they continue to search for that suspect. But again, as Rashonda said, the police message to the parents is everything is under control right now. They have the kids with police officers and they're safe, but they're trying to find this suspect. That's why the school is in lockdown.
And so the search continues. Weather is next.
New information coming in on the breaking news at Casady School in northwest Oklahoma City, the private school. They're now getting a little bit better feel on what the witnesses saw, apparently from a homeland across the street from Casady, somebody under the bushes, they said.
If you're familiar with that area, there are two large pillars in that area. The gunman was reported to be in the bushes under those pillars with his face painted with green camouflage paint, in a camouflage suit, carrying a rifle. Those were the reports from two witnesses on the scene. We know that police are continuing their search. We know that Rashonda Tate is there getting more details. Let's go to her now.
And Linda, authorities don't exactly know what that man's intentions were, but of course, you know, they can never be too careful, so they have Casady on lockdown. Now, here's what we know now. The YMCA, which sits right next door, north of Casady, is off lockdown. So parents, you can go there and pick up your students. They had gone on lockdown as well because, as we said, we don't know where this suspect is here on the campus. Authorities are going through the campus trying to find him, but we do know Casady's still on lockdown. Kids are still in a safe place with police officer, but the YMCA here has opened back up. Parents, you can come there to get your kids, but they're asking you for now to stay away from Casady School. Back to you.
Thank you, Rashonda. And we now have been told that one of the reasons a lot of cars there is because there's a sporting event for Casady School out of town. So a lot of people, of course, gather there, then ride the bus or whatever to that sporting event, or reason some of those cars are there.
And if you're just joining us, you should know that police have been going from every room in that school, gathering the children and putting them together in Calvert Hall so that all the kids will be in one place. Again, they ask the parents not to come to that area. They will release your children just as soon as they believe it's safe to do so. They don't want the area congested with additional traffic. So again, they're asking that you stay away.
And that YMCA north of the school, which was on lockdown, has now been taken off lockdown. So you need to know that to us. I know a lot of people go there and probably will tonight.
We'll continue our newscast and bring you additional information as it becomes available. But as we continue tonight, we know that every expectant parent wants a healthy and happy baby.
As each week goes by, moms and dads wonder what's going on with that growing baby in the womb. At 18 weeks, there are tests that can screen for potential problems. But now, doctors say there's a procedure that can be done even earlier during pregnancy. News Channel 4's Quinn Tran tells us what this early detection shows.
Married for 2 years.
We have so much fun together, you know, just doing everything together.
V. Lee and Brian Winkler are ready to start a family. They didn't know it would happen so quickly.
We were kind of shooting for next year, and then we were lucky to be in this year.
Yeah, we're completely shocked.
Yeah, completely shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked, but ready to take on pregnancy 1 week at a time.
This is the baby.
At nearly 10 weeks, the couple can already learn amazing things about their little one. Dr. Fred Coleman is a maternal fetal specialist.
We can see all the way from the top of the head down to the baby's bottom.
Using an advanced ultrasound machine, Dr. Coleman can capture the baby's beating heart on the screen. Hear it thumping at 169 beats a minute. And in a rare procedure performed in the early stage of pregnancy, Dr. Coleman can look for signs of trouble even at just 10 weeks. The procedure is called nuchal translucency.
As babies are developing, there is a little bit of space between where the muscles are and where the skin is.
He says that area around the neck is measured. Too much space indicates an increased risk of problems like Down syndrome.
We can detect somewhere between 80 to 90% of Down's babies.
Please, please be okay.
In less than 20 minutes, V and Brian are told their baby is healthy.
I think it can give people a lot more peace of mind, especially if you're a high-risk pregnancy. I mean, just to know that you need to take additional steps instead of be in the dark about it.
The only thing they're now in the dark about, whether the baby is a boy or girl. While their little blessing have brown or blue eyes.
She's been telling me for years and years that, you know, her dominant genes are going to squash any blue eyes that I could get. I'm hoping. But
keep on wishing, honey.
Yeah.
Dr. Coleman says the early detection procedure isn't often performed because there aren't enough people trained to do it. The procedure is done at OU Physicians here in Oklahoma City.
The most accurate forecast with the Forewarned Storm Team's Mike Morgan.
Kevin, we're going to take a quick look at the weather this afternoon. We all would agree that it has improved considerably over what we had for the past several weeks. In Oklahoma City, windy and warmer temperatures, 72 degrees. The daytime high today after a morning low temperature of 37. It is cooling down outside. The winds have calmed down, though, just in the past hour quite a bit. And metro temperatures are mostly in the lower 60s, a few upper 50s out there. Dress for lower to mid 50s if you have some evening plans a bit later on. Future track, the next 24 hours, a lot of sunshine today. There are changes developing to the west of Oklahoma. A little cloud cover is going to sneak in here as the day moves along tomorrow. This will be high, thin cloud cover, so it may just dim the sun for a while. We do expect warmer temperatures, though, throughout Oklahoma as we head through Friday. You know, if the winds were an inconvenience today, they might be a problem tomorrow. The winds will be even stronger statewide tomorrow than they were outside today, but temperatures very warm. Dallas 77, Wichita 69, Branson a windy 70 on Friday and 77 in Amarillo. Oklahoma lows tonight instead of 30s, mostly some middle to upper 40s with a south breeze overnight. Skies will stay mostly clear. Woodward 44, 47 Ponca City, 46 to start Friday in McAllister, and 47 in Ardmore. For tomorrow, a strong south to southwesterly wind gusting to near 40 miles per hour in western Oklahoma, and high temperatures in the low to mid 70s statewide. McAllister about 74 and 76 up in Altus. The metro, we stay dry, breezy this evening and tonight, and windy for tomorrow. Cloud cover comes sneaking in during the afternoon. 48 will be the metro low. Daytime high of 73 degrees on Friday. The best day of the week on the 7-day forecast will be Saturday. Not quite as much wind. A southwest wind, 76, partly cloudy. Cool front comes through Sunday morning. That'll shift the winds into the north and cool our temperatures down into the mid to upper 60s on Sunday. And then Kevin and Linda, still a good chance of a cool rain on Monday. A high of only 48, and then a freeze comes up on Tuesday before a warm-up by the end of next week. All in all, we got 3 great days coming up. Back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you very much.
We've got more on that breaking news coming up right after this.
Breaking news update now. The scene, of course, Casady School in northwest Oklahoma City, where earlier tonight, about almost an hour ago, there was a report of a man in camouflage with a gun on the campus.
2 witnesses reportedly saw that man. Rashonda Tate has been on the scene since it began. Let's go to her right now for an update. Rashonda?
Linda, one of those witnesses was brought back here to the campus, and police are telling us she has identified a school employee as the person that was dressed up in the fatigue. Now, what they're trying to do right now is determine actually if he had a gun, what kind of gun, and find that suspect. But they are telling us at this hour that it is a school employee identified by one of the witnesses. That's all the information we know. Police are gathering more, and they say they will continue searching. They still are not letting the children out yet, but they say as soon as they find go over the whole campus, find that suspect, they'll start letting the children go. Still at this hour, though, they're asking parents to stay away until they get it all under control. Back to you.
Rashonda Tate, thank you very much. Of course, the initial reports came in that the gunman had a rifle with him, and that's what brought all of the law enforcement onto the campus. We'll continue to follow the story. Sports-wise.
All right, let's turn to sports quickly. This is the final week of the regular season for high school football, but the Christian schools have already started their playoffs, and that included today. John Merrill's Christian Heritage team has won the last 9 Christian school state titles tonight, playing a Community Christian semifinal contest, and that's Christian Heritage's Tony Merrill on the quarterback bootleg. The first quarter scoring from 43 yards out. After the 2-point conversion, it was 8-0. After a Community Christian touchdown made it 8-6, Tony Merrill did it again, this time from the 18-yard line. Christian Heritage leads 38-6 at the halftime. Southwest Covenant and Grace Christian meet in the other semifinal game. Switching to baseball, Oakland pitcher Barry Zito here is the American League Cy Young Award winner. He edged Boston's Pedro Martinez to win the award as the top pitcher in the American League. The left-hander Zito won 23 games, lost just 5, with a 2.26 earned run average. Barry Zito, the American League Cy Young Award winner.
All right, Bob, thank you.
Breaking news update from Casady when we get back at 6:30.